Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, October 20th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Thursday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. Right now, you'll notice a narrow two-day range developed over the previous session. Right here, mainly staying within today's range. Got a little bit below it, but popped back into the range. Right now, we're seeing an early test back at the midpoint of the previous session's range, and also a test right back toward the previous day's low, kind of a perfect double bottom low almost there, and it's holding this lower range. Now, this is a buildup of energy here that could be released today, or it could be released tomorrow, and it could be a significant move from a 1 to 3 day perspective. If you look right here, very similar price action where it kind of coiled up after a bounce, narrow range, and then this day was the breakout day and opened up new lows. That could be similar to what happens this time around. Another 3 day narrow range here after a rally. Maybe it starts to break today and you start to drop here. Again, this market after every round of strength has seen a big dose of weakness. So for this move to continue to go higher here, it's really going to have some significant bullish reaction here, and we just haven't really seen a whole lot of that. So again, the most likely outcome here is for this thing to materialize to the downside and stay within this range that has been developing here over the last several weeks. So again, watching the 3 day range here for a potential breakout. Just from a 2 day range basis, compressed with 185 point potential. If we happen to stay within the range throughout the day, or develop a 3 day narrow range, again, here's the compression with about 227 points of energy. If we take a look here at the NQ, similar price action, compression over the last 3 days after a bounce, very similar to what we've seen here when it rallied, and then we saw this 3 day range and then a big fall ahead. Again, 3 day ranges can be powerful balls of energy here. You can see right here this 3 day could open up about 845 points of movement up ahead, or somewhere around 650, somewhere between that zone could be in play. If we take a look at what's transpired in the past here, these 3 day ranges opening up big moves here. You have this narrow 3 day range right in here, and led to a little bit of volatility in both ways. Over here was a big one, that 3 day narrow range, and the big move that followed. So again, we'll be watching for the development of this and eventually expansion. If we break down through 11K, we could be looking at about an 850 point drop down below, which again puts us into new low territory. So right now, compression on a 3 day range basis. We could see further development of this range. Once we see expansion, look for 650, 850 points of range. Taking a look here at crude oil. Now, crude oil has bounced over the last 2 days. It was an inside day yesterday, mostly compression throughout much of the day, and then rallied late in the session and held those gains, but still inside day. Right now, we're seeing this thing push higher, and seeing a little bit of signs of rejection on these highs. Not the strongest rejection, but there is lower high activity up there, and price is now back below the previous week's close. So again, in a downtrending market, these pullbacks tend to be opportunities to sell it. We've seen it last time, a little bit of a bounce, and it sold. Now we're getting a little bit of a bounce, perhaps it gets sold again. This market was very close to breaking the 81 level. That 81 level, very important here. That's support right here. We came right down into it. Inside day, narrow range for the most part, not super narrow, and now we're testing the upper end. If we're going to continue to push downward, then this will become likely a failed new high, and we close into yesterday's range, and that could open up a continuation on a swing basis. Again, this market's still not wanting to push below those 81s. Perhaps we stay in the range a bit longer, but keeping an eye on the previous session's high, a failure to hold that 8502 level, and we're working back down. Lastly, we're going to take a look at gold today. Gold has developed a very good impulsive move here recently. That strong low rallied to this high, which is the July FOMC key level, and then snap back to the midpoint here. That gives us a new key range to work off of. So if you're working with gold here, this is a great key range here to keep an eye on. Right now we're seeing clear weakness within that key range. The edge right now in play 1622.20 with the potential to break down through it. 1593 is the 25% extension point. If we're going to bounce back up within the channel, 1593 could be a level about which we see some sort of rejection and reversal back within the range. 1680 would be the target on that side, and perhaps we could rally back across the range towards 1740 and stay in this range. So again, this key range right now, very, very important. The overall downtrend also remains intact here. You can see the downtrending channel, regression channel still in play, and again, that opens the potential for a continuation down toward the lower boundary of that edge. That'll be somewhere in the 1550 zone and the 50% extension of this key range. So keep an eye on the new key range right now for not only potential traps at the extremes, but also for targets. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.